The story of the jack-o'-lantern comes from an ancient Irish legend about a man named Stingy Jack. Jack was known for being clever, tricky, and quite mischievous. He had a reputation for being a man who liked to make deals and get his way, often by outsmarting people around him. But one day, Jack's trickery reached a new level when he managed to trick none other than the devil himself. Not once, but twice. The first time Jack met the devil, he was walking through the countryside, and the devil came to take his soul. Jack, not ready to give up, asked the devil for one last drink before they went to hell. The devil agreed. Jack, being sly, convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin to pay for the drink. The devil, not seeing the trick, transformed into a silver coin, and Jack quickly placed the coin into his pocket, where he also kept a small silver cross. Because of the cross, the devil was trapped and could not turn back into his original form. Jack made a deal with the devil. He would let him go, but in return, the devil had to leave Jack alone for 10 years. The devil agreed, and Jack set him free. 10 years later, the devil returned to claim Jack's soul. But Jack, always ready with another trick, asked the devil to climb a tree to get him some fruit as one last meal before going to hell. The devil, thinking there was no harm in this, climbed the tree. While the devil was up in the branches, Jack quickly carved a cross into the tree trunk, trapping the devil once again. This time, Jack made the devil promise to never take his soul to hell, and again, the devil had no choice but to agree. Eventually, Jack grew old and died, but because of his sinful life, Jack was not allowed into heaven. However, because the devil had promised not to take his soul, Jack was not allowed into hell either. So, Jack was left to wander the earth, his soul trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead. The devil, still holding a grudge, gave Jack a single burning coal from hell to light his way. Jack put the coal into a carved-out turnip, creating a lantern to guide him as he wandered the earth forever. He became known as Jack of the Lantern, or Jack-o'-lantern. Why do we carve pumpkins? The tradition of carving pumpkins during Halloween has deep roots in Irish folklore, but it evolved when Irish immigrants brought their customs to America. Originally, people in Ireland carved turnips and other root vegetables to create lanterns with frightening faces. These lanterns were believed to scare away evil spirits or mischievous souls like Jack's. When the Irish arrived in the United States, they found that pumpkins were much more abundant than turnips and were also easier to carve. Thus, the pumpkin became the new face of the jack-o'-lantern tradition. Today, the jack-o'-lantern is one of the most recognizable symbols of Halloween. Every year, families gather to carve pumpkins, and the tradition has turned into a fun activity for children and adults alike. People carve all sorts of designs into pumpkins, from traditional scary faces to elaborate artistic creations. Pumpkin carving has even become a competitive sport, with contests to see who can create the most impressive or creative designs. But the original purpose of the jack-o'-lantern remains: to ward off evil spirits and bring light to the dark night. The flickering candle inside the pumpkin is a reminder of Jack's eternal wandering, lighting the way in the darkness as he searches for a place to rest. The symbolism of the jack-o'-lantern. The jack-o'-lantern has become much more than just a carved pumpkin with a candle inside. It has taken on symbolic meaning in cultures around the world, especially in countries that celebrate Halloween. The lantern itself represents the idea of light in darkness, both literally and metaphorically. It is a symbol of protection from evil spirits, but it also represents the idea of being lost. Just like Jack, who was doomed to wander the earth forever. The carved face of the jack-o'-lantern is often scary or grotesque, meant to frighten away malevolent forces. But for many people today, the tradition of carving pumpkins has moved beyond its superstitious roots. Now, it's more about creativity and fun, with people carving everything from funny faces to detailed images of animals, characters, or patterns. Pumpkin carving has even become a central part of Halloween decorations. As October 31st approaches, houses and porches across the world are lit by glowing pumpkins, each with its own unique design. Some people even use electric lights or LED candles inside their jack-o'-lanterns, giving the tradition a modern twist. Jack-o'-lanterns. Around the world, though the jack-o'-lantern is most closely associated with Halloween in Western cultures, variations of this tradition exist in other parts of the world. In Mexico, for example, pumpkins and other gourds are sometimes used as decorations during Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, a holiday that honors deceased loved ones. These decorations are not carved in the same way as Halloween pumpkins, but they are used to celebrate the connection between the living and the dead. In parts of Asia, lantern festivals are held to celebrate the return of spirits or ancestors. While these lanterns are not carved pumpkins, they serve a similar purpose, lighting the way for spirits and keeping evil forces at bay. In some cases, the lanterns are elaborately decorated with symbols or designs to ward off bad luck. The evolution of Halloween and the jack-o'-lantern over time, the meaning and celebration of Halloween have evolved. What began as a Celtic festival called Samhain, marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, has transformed into the modern Halloween we know today. Samhain was a time when the boundary between the living and the dead was thought to be at its thinnest, and people would light bonfires and carve turnip lanterns to protect themselves from wandering spirits. As Halloween spread and became commercialized, it shifted from being a purely spiritual or superstitious event to a more festive and playful holiday. The jack-o'-lantern, once a symbol of fear and protection, became a centerpiece of fun and creativity. Today, millions of pumpkins are carved every year, with the tradition continuing to grow. Fun facts about jack-o'-lanterns. The world's largest jack-o'-lantern was carved from a pumpkin weighing 2,350 pounds. In early versions of the jack-o'-lantern story, Jack didn't always carry a pumpkin. Sometimes he carried a lantern made from a carved turnip or even a potato. In some places, people believe that if you see a jack-o'-lantern flickering on Halloween night, it's a sign that spirits are nearby.